Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since we did the last video. That's because I have been enjoying myself in Wales, climbing up the Great Orme and Llandudno. Anyway, we're back on track now. The 3:30 at Wolverhampton, 5 furlongs handicap, and this is the 1st of November 2016. We're looking at, and we have been trading, a horse called Zach Brown, which is the top weight in this race at Wolverhampton. And you can see I have done a little bit of trading earlier on in the morning, and we've got an average price of 57.53, and we've been trading that off at 50. And I'm going to continue to trade between now and the start of the race, which is approximately an hour and a quarter away. Now, Zach Brown is undoubtedly an all-weather performer. Its runs on the turf are nowhere near as good, and that is reflected in its rating, which is £15 higher on the all-weather than it is on the grass. So I'm going to largely ignore the performances on the turf during the season. Now, it has had one performance recently at Chelmsford in a similar race to this one. If you can see from the form of Zach Brown, it was rated 95. The average race rating of the race, which I looked at in a previous video, is 88, or was 88, and it's now running just £1 lower, and also the class of the race is just, again, another 1 point lower. So we're looking at very, very similar conditions to the race where it ran at Chelmsford. And on the September the 11th at Chelmsford, it ran over 6 furlongs. It's dropping back to 5. I've no objection to the horse running over 5 because it is quite a good performer over that distance. You can see here it only got beaten neck at Wolverhampton over 5 furlongs in a better race. But last time out on the all-weather it was beaten 20 lengths and it finished 12th of 12. Now, if you look at the comments in the section for this horse, then you'll find that it actually jumped the path mid-race and lost momentum, lost its place, and was eased very heavily inside the final furlong. So that might be an indication as to its finishing position in that race. Obviously it's a quick race, 6 furlong sprint, so the horse doesn't have much time to recover from jumping a path. And now we are almost 2 months further down the line, and it's come out at Wolverhampton after finishing mid-pack really in a turf race. So these are the conditions today. The horse is currently trading at 65, as you can see, and I think the price is quite reasonable, bearing in mind this one performance on the all-weather is nothing like its previous form. It has been pretty consistent, and especially at Wolverhampton where it's run quite a few times. So I'm going to completely ignore its run last time out, and if you do that, then there's no way this horse is a 65 to 1 chance. And this is the odds that we will be trying to trade between now and the race. Now, once I have traded it and we've built up a potential profit, then I'm going to attempt to either make a profit before the race by hedging the bets, or part hedging, leaving some of the money in before the race and then look at the horse in running. So we've got a few options. We can also hedge the bet and put the money on another horse if we wanted to, and I might do that as well, because I have a sneaking suspicion that Seeking Magic might run a little bit better than again its price of 11 to 1. So I'm going to trade only Zach Brown, but if I do hedge my bet, then I may use some of that to put a bet on Seeking Magic. And hopefully we'll have a position where we've got 2 horses running for us in the race with no chance of a failure or losing money before the race starts. So that's the position we are in. I will, as usual, come back during the next hour and 15 minutes if anything changes leading up to the race, and then we'll have a look at the horse in the last 15 minutes and see how it runs during the race. So I'll put a pause in the video and we'll come back and have a look a little bit later on.
Fully matched.
Okay, welcome back. We have made a few more trades we've averaged 66.2 as against 60.1 on the lay bet for £28.55, and that's just moving money around. We haven't really been in any problems, and we've got a potential profit of 165.49 on Zach Brown. Now obviously we're not going to play for that. We're going to probably hedge the bets and maybe have a look in running, and like I said before, maybe put some of the money onto Seeking Magic. So I'm going to continue to just trade a little bit more. We have got about 13 minutes left before the race starts, and hopefully we'll make a few more trades and try and put that profit a little bit higher. So we've done a few more trades, and you can see we have now a potential profit on it of 241. If we wanted to hedge the bet, we can cash in with £3.71 whichever horse wins, but we'll just see what happens in this last few minutes. We're still about 9 minutes away from the race, and like I said before, we've only just been taking small stakes in Zach Brown, just back in at a higher price, laying off a couple of prices down. So it soon builds up when you're playing on the outsiders. Now what I'm also doing here is waiting for, instead of hedging the market at 3.45, I'm just going to wait to see if the price actually goes down to round about 46, and then we'll get a better hedge price for our money. So there's no real threat to anything. We can afford to just be patient, see what the market decides. If it goes up, we can do a few more trades. If it comes down, we can hedge the market and win a little bit of money on the race. Now we are getting close to the last 5 minutes, and I've said before that the last 5 minutes is the danger zone for me personally anyway, as a trader, because the market can really fluctuate quite rapidly. So I'm going to just take the money out of the bet on Zach Brown, see which way this market will now change. And if we just watch the market for a second or two, you can see that the price will fluctuate quite rapidly. And there was the 5-minute warning that I have put in to Geeks Toy. It wouldn't surprise me if the price went up to 100, and yet again it wouldn't surprise me if it came down to 50. There's no real way of knowing at this stage how the market will react. Clearly the horse has not been backed, because if it had been, it would have been in by now. We were only 5 minutes off the race, so there's no real money for Zach Brown in this particular event. So what I'm going to do, decided, is to just take £3 out and hedge the bet for a net profit of £2.85 on the race, but also leave some money in on Zach Brown just in case it runs a decent race, and we'll lay that in running at maybe around 6 just to see if we can win an extra £10. So that's the position. We're going to leave it at that. We're about 3 minutes away from the race. I'm not a fan of late trading, as you'll know from the previous videos. We have made a small profit on the race. We've got Zach Brown running for us. Unfortunately, we didn't do enough trading to put the money on, some of the money on Seeking Magic, but that obviously was an option at the start. But other races you can do that, and that is an option for you. So if you wanted to put, for example, £3 on Seeking Magic at 12 to 1, you could go ahead and do that without any loss on the race, because don't forget the £2.85 is inclusive of the commission. So that's about it for pre-race trading. We'll just, like I said before, just watch the race when it comes on, and then we'll have a final summing up and we'll see what happens after that. So we've now put the £10 in the race at 6.0, and we're going to right click that and in play keep, and as before the K will appear in the unmatched bet, so that will stay in the race once the race gets underway, and we'll see if it comes down to 6 and we can maybe win another £10. But we have won a little bit amount on the race. Remember, we're only playing for very small stakes, so the profits are not going to be huge when you start off, but gradually your bank will increase, and over time you can increase your stakes and play for a little bit more meaningful money. So let's do a quick summing up of what we've done on this race. We've taken a big outsider in Zach Brown. We've looked at the form. We've decided that although it's running poorly in its recent races, there is a reason for that on the all-weather. We looked at its turf form and we suggested that it was a better horse on the all-weather, and we were quite comfortable in trading at a price of 65 or above, in which we did about an hour and a half before the race, and we built up some kind of profit. Once the price stabilised, we hedged the market, locked in a little bit of profit. We got out before the 5 or at the 5 minute mark, which is the problem area that you can happen. In this occasion it hasn't happened, it's continued to trade along those lines, but in general it is best to get out before that 5 minutes marker. So we're now waiting for the race to start. If it goes down to 6 in running, we've won another £10. If it doesn't get down to that, we've made a little bit of money on the race, and we can move on to the next race and build up the profit from there. We also looked at maybe putting some of the money onto Seeking Magic, which we could still do if we wanted to, but we're going to leave that for now. Maybe look at that in another video sometime in the near future. And we're just making steady progress. So when the race does start, it is a 5 furlong sprint, so round about 2 furlongs is going to be here just to the right of Zach Brown, in between Mountain, and the race is now off. So we'll just watch the price on Zach Brown with a 1 or 2 eye on Seeking Magic and see what price that gets to in running. Now obviously I said before that I did fancy that horse. That doesn't mean to say that I think it's a knock-in certainty to win. It isn't, but it might run a decent race. So we're round about halfway now. Zach Brown still trading round about what it was before the race. Seeking Magic is coming right down to inside 2 to 1. It's been as low as 2.8. Zach Brown going back out, and it looks to me like it's a beaten horse now. It's trading at 60 and it's gone up to 1,000. Seeking Magic did come below 3, but that's now going out, and the favourite Upstaging looks like it's won the race. So Seeking Magic did run the race that we were expecting it to. It ran a very good race. Zach Brown was a trading tool. We're not expecting these big outsiders to win, but we are using them as a trading tool to make a little bit of money on the race. So the favourites won, we haven't traded it, but we've still won a little bit of profit on the race. So that's it for this video. Hopefully I'll get a few more out pretty shortly, and we can have a look at another couple of races, looking at form and seeing how we can switch the money around, maybe back in 2 or 3 in the race. So thanks for watching. Obviously if you've enjoyed the video and you've got any comments, leave them in the section below. I will try and get back to you with any questions that you have, and if you would like to subscribe, do so, then you don't miss a video, and it is free to do so, so there's no real reason not to do that. So thanks for watching everybody, and hopefully I will see you shortly.